Good morning, everybody. Hey, thank you so much for being here. Welcome, welcome, everybody. So the first thing I want to do is apologize. So some people went to the North building. I'm very sorry. We sent 3 emails apologizing and saying it's the South building. So, but my sincere apologies. So anybody who went to the North building and had to park at the North building, then have to come back here, I'm sorry. But we hope to create a great experience for you today. So welcome, welcome. My name is Yvonne Ruke Akwaveter. I like to say the Ruke because he really talks to my traditional roots and my African roots and where I am. So I always say Ruke. So my name is Yvonne Ruke Akwaveter. I'm a change catalyst. I like to call myself change catalyst. So I do change leadership, change motivation, change speaking, change writing, everything about change. I'm really passionate about change. And that's the reason why we're having this event. I know there's so many leadership events, and that's why we said not just another leadership event. Because when we put this event out, people asked, another leadership event? No. This is really about saying, how can we lead change? It's really about saying that we can do change management, we can implement projects, but everything starts with change. I'm not going to take too much of your time because we have an awesome panel later today, and we're really going to talk change. I'm excited. I see some of the panelists there. But the first person I want to introduce is Paul. I'm not going to go into his bio because he has it there. You can read it. But I went to this event, the Shuvik event, about a few weeks back. And the minute I heard Paul talk about leadership and talk about disruptive leadership, I was bold enough. I went to the stage right to him and said, Paul, I need to speak to you. We're having an event, and I need you to pass off the event. He was so gracious. I went, met him at his office, and he agreed to do this. But when you hear when you hear Paul speak about leadership and talk about the passion around it, and talk about disruptive leadership, and talk about passion capital, then you know why I had to have John here. I keep on saying John because I just came back from the morning session with John, but Paul Alofs. So Paul Alofs is awesome. I've heard him speak, and I want you to please help me welcome Paul Alofs to the stage. Give him a round of applause. I'm so sorry.
Thank you. Good morning, everybody. Good morning. The first thing I'd like to do is, Yvonne, I just got to know you, but on behalf of all of us here, right, the first rule of leadership, leaderships lead and they get things done. Yvonne, we're all here because of you, so on behalf of everybody here, thanks for getting us together. Thank you. Look, I have 20 minutes with you, and as Elizabeth Taylor said to her 7th husband, I won't keep you long. Look, I used to work in the music business. I was president of HMV Music Stores in the late 80s through the mid-90s. Remember when we all used to buy CDs? And I had the opportunity in my music industry days to meet Bono a couple times. I'm a huge U2 fan. And this morning, I feel like the opening act for Bono, because John Maxwell is here to speak with you, the #1 expert on leadership. And just hearing John this morning, you will not be disappointed. He is an amazing guy, 25 million books sold, and you're in for something very special this morning. So I would like to talk to you for the next 20 minutes about a subject very close to my heart. So I'm going to talk from the heart. There's a, excuse me, a reason I have this gray hair and all these lines on my face. Because like most of you, I've learned my lessons in leadership in the trenches. And what I'd like to talk to you about is change. Now, change is a constant. You'll see this quote up on the screen right now from Heraclitus of Ephesus thousands of years ago. What did he write? To me, one of the great insights about the human condition and change. So what did he say? You can never step in the same river twice. It's a simple set of 9 words, but to me it has incredible and deep and important meaning for everybody that wants to understand change. Now, the change I'm going to talk about this morning is not just any kind of change. It's transformational change. Transformational change. And the leadership I want to talk about this morning is not just any kind of leadership. It's disruptive leadership. Transformational change, disruptive leadership, and as we all know, change is part of the human condition. It is ongoing. We never step in the same river twice. The river changes, we change, everything changes all the time. But in my 61 years on planet Earth, I have never seen the kind of disruptive change that's happening right now. And as a matter of fact, I can put my finger on just a couple of the key drivers, not just in Canada or the US, but around the world that are driving this kind of transformational change. Now, these mega trends, as I call them, these drivers of change. First of all, demographics. We could talk the whole day about demographics. Every one of you in your organization for this country of Canada, celebrating our 150th as an amazing place to live. Every organization, every business, everyone in this room will be affected by this demographic change that's going on. And you know what? We're only at the starting point. We're only at the beginning of seeing the impact of this demographic change. This is Canada, the US, this is Western Europe, this is China, and it's Japan. Huge changes coming with our aging demographic. The second one, technology. Now, technology, the three main drivers of change there that I see in my work every day at Princess Margaret: artificial intelligence, AI, robotics, and genomics. Very, very quickly, artificial intelligence. It's not a theory in healthcare. In our radiation medicine department, it's the largest one in the world. We treat 400 patients a day. We have an AI-supported platform where a radiation technician used to take 4 to 6 hours to plan a course of radiation, and now takes 4 to 6 minutes with this AI-supported platform with greater accuracy. AI is all around us, and it's coming and will disrupt like nothing we've ever seen in technology. Robotics. We have our operating room, the most advanced cancer operating room in the world. And surgical robots are somewhat commonplace now. But the robotics in this operating room, even the operating room table is a robot. And when the staff scrub in, we have an engineer who scrubs in as well. That's how robotics is affecting healthcare, but it's going to affect everybody's industry and everybody's organization in this room. And finally, genomics. Used to be millions of dollars, now it's hundreds of dollars to have a genome screen. Understand the basis of the disease at the level of your genome. Politics, the third huge mega trend and driver. Now, the politics of anger is something that there's been a lot written about, but people around the world are angry with their politicians, and as leaders, what we know is you need a certain level of consensus to get anything done. And what's frightening over the next 5, 10, 20 years is just to see how angry people are who are electing their leaders or throwing out their leaders. So the politics of anger, and finally pollution and climate change, which is maybe we're past the tipping point at this point. You know, there is just so much damage that has been done, excuse me, to Mother Earth. It's just remarkable, and it's very sad in many ways. But you know what, these four changes, when I look at them, as much as they're difficult news here, as much as there's transformational change coming, I see every one of these as an opportunity. I see them as an opportunity for Canada, and I hope you as a leader, as hopefully someone who believes in disruptive leadership and transformational change, that you will see that these are all opportunities for you and for your organization. Now, you know what? The times truly are a-changin', as the Bob Dylan song goes. Let's start off this morning, about 30 seconds of Bob Dylan, because there's a really important message embedded in this old song. You know, as a country, as an organization, as leaders, change is all around us. But as old Bob sings at the end of the song, you better start swimming, you'll sink like a stone. The idea of being a disruptive leader, the idea of getting used to and being out in front of transformational change, this is not an option for you, for me, for us as a country. This is not an option. We better get better at being disruptive in our leadership and in our transformational change. And you know what? There's part of my talk this morning that's going to make just about everybody feel a little bit uncomfortable when I talk about courage. And if you don't feel uncomfortable, then you probably don't deserve the title of being a leader. But you better start swimming or we'll sink like a stone. This is not acceptable to continue on leading the way that we lead our organizations. And there's such opportunity in this country and our organizations. There's such incredible opportunity locked up in this country. So, you better start swimming or you sink like a stone, says old Bob. Well, you know what? One more quote here in terms of being future-minded as we think about change and being a great leader, the kind of leader who leads disruptive change. You know, Socrates said, the secret of change is to focus all of your energy, not on fighting the old, but on building the new. Like, I love the Canada 150. I love celebrating what Canada is all about. But what I would really love is that for leaders to step forward and talk about the next 150 years. That we look forward, you know, in healthcare, in politics, in many of our organizations and institutions. We keep fighting the same old battles. We keep churning up the past as opposed to thinking about building the new. And that's what I'd like you all to focus on today. To think about the next 150 years, to think about your next moves as a leader and in your organization. How do you put your time, effort, and energy into building the new? Now, all great leadership comes from the disruptive thinkers. You know, transformational change happens and is required, a requirement for disruptive leaders. Disruptive leaders possess one very valuable asset. I spent about 25 years of my career thinking about this. What is it about the disruptive leaders? I've had a chance 4 times in my career to truly be a disruptive leader. And I've observed others who have been successful as disruptive leaders who have brought about transformational change. And I have noticed a pattern of behavior. And I wondered, you know, what is it about these disruptive leaders and what do they possess? What is this valuable asset they have? What is the disruptive leader's most valuable asset? The question I've just been thinking about, well, is it financial capital? If you have piles of money, will that help you be a disruptive leader? If you have technological capital, you've got some great code that's been written that is just remarkable. Or is it human capital, the great teams? Is it scientific capital? Is it one of these forms of capital that is the disruptive leader's greatest asset? And you know, I found all of these answers were wrong. When I studied my own successes and failures in disruptive leadership and noticed people around me, not just in Canada or the US, but around the world, and did further research, you know what? What I found is financial capital, human capital, technological capital, these are not the answers to what is the disruptive leader's greatest asset. So, what is the disruptive leader's most valuable asset? I have the answer. It's called passion capital. It's called passion capital. Passion's an emotion. Passion is not passion capital. Passion's an emotion. Is it a strongly felt emotion or set of emotions? But passion capital is something different. It's an asset. Passion capital is a tangible asset. And it is, my definition, the energy, intensity, and sustainability that disruptive leaders have to bring about transformational change. It is the energy, the intensity, and the sustainability that disruptive leaders have to bring about change. Leaders that don't have financial capital, that don't have technology, don't have science, don't have a team together, how are they able? And I've seen it in my career when I was at Disney. I worked closely with John Lasseter at Pixar. I went up and spent a day at Pixar one time. Steve Jobs, who is, you know, a great supporter of John Lasseter, showed up for the day-long meeting. I sat with Steve and with John Lasseter and 5 or 6 other people in a small boardroom. And what I truly understood was it wasn't about Steve Jobs' investment. It was about something different. And it was this idea of a pattern of behaviors built around this idea of passion capital, which gave them the energy, intensity, and sustainability to totally disrupt the Walt Disney Company as it goes to animation. So the idea that passion capital is the disruptive leader's most valuable asset in driving transformational change is an insight that I've had and I've been talking about now for a number of years. And the Globe and Mail at the beginning of the year wrote about workplace trends for 2017. They talked about passion. They gave reference to passion capital in the book that I wrote on this as the #1 workplace trend of the year. Now, I also noticed that this is the 5th talk I've given this month on passion capital. This idea of harnessing passion and the patterns of behavior that lead to disruptive and truly transformational change. This idea is something that's really finding a home in our organizations. And I think it is because energy intensity and sustainability are the things that every leader needs. Way more than money, financial support, intellectual property, and even the team, because you get all those things if you've got the passion capital. So how do you acquire and invest passion capital? How do you acquire it? Well, there's 7 building blocks or patterns of behavior. Here are the building blocks, and I'm not going to spend really any time going into them. For those of you that are interested, I've written a book on this. There's a chapter on each one of these, and there's a deep dive on case studies and examples of the patterns of behavior and how they come to life. What I would like to do, though, in the few minutes I have left, is just touch briefly on #1 and #3. That's creed and courage. Okay? So these are the 7 building blocks or patterns of behavior. And given what you think or you know about the terms that are up there on strategy or on brand or on persistence, I think you'll find a very different take when I talk about it in terms of the building blocks of passion capital. So, the first building block or pattern of behavior is called creed. Creed is an exceptionally strongly felt belief and promise to the world. It's usually always written on one page. It provides great clarity to your mission, vision, and ambition. And you know what? A great creed statement is nothing like the vision, mission, and value statements that I read all the time, every day, most of the organizations that I see in Canada or in North America. Your vision, mission, and value statement, sorry, nobody in your company cares. Nobody follows them. Nobody gets out of bed in the morning going, I am charging to work because of the vision, mission, and values of this organization. And most of them are written with this unbelievable amount of committee speak. You know, the stuff like employees are our greatest asset and will exceed customer expectations. Sorry if you've got those in there, but if you have those kind of things in your vision, mission, and value statements, people in your organization are not following you. They're not inspired by it, they don't drive for you, and they're not warriors for your cause. So you really got to think about your vision, mission, and value statement. You write a creed statement, a one-page statement of belief. The most significant one in the world, and it should be required teaching in every business school. It's a J&J Credo that was written in 1943 by Robert Wood Johnson. 1943, on one page, what he did was lay out the 4 priorities that would be the touchstones of J&J, and those haven't changed since 1943. Now, J&J, you know, is a big company. It's made mistakes, but it's one of the most valuable companies over a very long period of time with an outstanding track record of shareholder returns and value. But what's so interesting, the J&J Credo puts shareholder returns as the 4th priority in Robert Wood Johnson's Credo that he wrote. The J&J Credo is spectacular. If you haven't read it, it's a simple document, but the power of it is how it's survived, how much power there is behind it to everybody who works for the Johnson & Johnson Company and wants to understand what it's all about. The second creed or creed statement is from Princess Margaret. Now, cancer research and care is very complicated. To try to get everybody, as I call it, singing from the same song sheet, it's a very difficult thing in the world of cancer research and cancer care. So what we did is we took about a year to put together a creed statement that basically confirmed that our vision, mission, and ambition was to conquer cancer in our lifetime. That we were, in fact, one of the top 5 cancer centers in the world. That we'd be leading the way in genomics and immunotherapy and other important areas. It also recognized that every day people are dying at our hospital from cancer. It's a very authentic look at what the world of cancer research and care is all about. And it's served Princess Margaret so incredibly well as one of the world's top 5 cancer centers. The creed, really, people ask, how did you raise $1 billion? We just completed a $1 billion campaign. Our creed statement, our purpose statement, really, is so strongly held and believed in by everybody who works with us. And we've been able to transfer that belief and that passion into a donor community that now exceeds 250,000 donors every year. So how did we raise $1 billion? It starts with the creed statement. And your vision, mission, and value statement is probably truly lacking. I really wish that Canada for the next 150 years on one page would have a great creed statement, not written by politicians, but by some of the great writers that we have. So creed, what is your promise to the world? How do you align and focus your passion? Align, focus your passion. That's what a creed statement is. That's the first building block of passion capital. And that is a pattern of behavior. And if you take a look around, there's other examples about what a great creed statement is all about. And if the people that work in your organization are not warriors for your cause, you don't have to work in the world of cancer research to be a warrior. I want to work with people who are warriors. You get the creed statement right, people come to work and they are warriors for your cause. So, courage. Second building, or the third building block, and the second one I'll talk about today. This is where, you know what, all of us are going to get a little uncomfortable because, you know what, Canadian leaders are not exactly distinguishing themselves in this area of courage. Now, I've always felt that. When you have deep passion, you have a belief that's set out in a creed statement, it helps power this idea that you will take risks, that you will have courage, that you'll do the difficult things. Not just because they're difficult, but because you got to step up as a leader. If you want to transform, it's always the big difficult things that need your attention. So this idea of courage, you know what? Deloitte came along, a large professional service firm, at the beginning of the year, and they published a study on courage. They put it all online. You can Google it, Deloitte on courage. And here's what Deloitte found. 44% of the companies that they interviewed, so they interviewed 1,200 executives, very large sample size. And they set out 5 attributes of courage. And what they found is 44% of the companies self-identified as having courage. So what that means is 56% of the companies that completed this in-depth questionnaire acknowledged that they were not courageous. Is that, as leaders, is that acceptable to us? As Canadians, is that acceptable to us? 56% of companies in the Deloitte study, 1,200 interviews, said that they really didn't have courage. Here's what is even more moving to me about this whole idea of courage and the need for us to step up as leaders in Canada. When Deloitte actually looked at the behaviors in courage, as opposed to the self-reported behaviors, they looked at actual behavior. Only 11% of companies in Canada had courage. 11%. This is not something that any of us who wears the mantle of a leader, whether we're leading a team of 2 or 3, or whether we're leading a team of several thousand or more. You know what? Nobody should feel good about this. And what I know is that every single day, I go to work at a cancer center, I see people with unbelievable courage. I know that Canadians in our military, in our sports, in so many aspects of life, are incredibly courageous people. What happens when we become leaders? Is it that we have too many resources? Is it we have too much bounty and the blessings that we enjoy in this country? I don't know. But let me just take 45 seconds. I want to show you the face of courage in the patients, docs, and staff of the people that I see every single day. And, you know, before I play that short video, I'd like to also give a shout out to, I think, 3 simple but very, very important attributes of leadership that help fill this courage gap. So this idea that only 11% of Canadian companies have courage, there is a leadership gap out there. To me, the GAP stands for we need grit. We need leaders with grit. We need leaders with ambition who also know how to get that take that grit and get things done. And we need the passion. Grit, ambition, and passion. So the face of courage that I see every day, you know, I see courageous people every single day walking through the doors of the Princess Margaret. You're going to hear from John Maxwell, and he's so inspiring on so many different subjects, but he writes a lot about courage. One of my favorite quotes from John is, "A great leader's courage to fulfill his vision comes from passion, not position." And Canadians are extremely courageous. What about us? What about us as leaders? And I'm going to wrap up now and just say passion capital. I've written a book about it. I've thought a lot about it. It is the energy, intensity, and sustainability that brings about transformational change, the disruptive leaders, the kind who deliver on transformational change. They have this energy, intensity, sustainability, and what they do is they harness the 7 building blocks of passion capital, or those patterns of behavior. Now, my final thought to you, you know, if you understand this idea of passion capital, how to take your passion and put it to work, those patterns of behavior, if you invest it, you're going to drive transformational change. This is your #1 asset for driving transformational change, I argue. If you own your passion and your passion capital, you're going to be way happier on the job. You kill people's passion who come to work, you're going to kill their engagement, you're going to kill their morale, and you are not going to become transformational leaders. You're not going to get things done. The best part of passion capital, I find, is if you share it, you're going to make the world a better place. People are attracted to leaders that understand and have passion capital. And this is not about being an extrovert or a particularly good public speaker or anything else. This is way different from that. So passion capital is something that I believe very strongly in. I've written a book about it. Some of you have it. If you want to find out more, it's right here. And what I'll finish by saying is the opportunity to come and talk to you this morning before John Maxwell, the #1 leadership expert in the world, is something that I'm grateful for. When I talk about courage, you know what? You should feel a little bit uncomfortable right now, because as Canadians, we can and will do a better job. I hope you discover, find, build, and invest your passion capital. I believe it's the world's most valuable asset. Thank you. Thank you, everybody. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Paul. I really, really do appreciate that. You know, Paul said something about courage. Working with a lot of leaders, I see courage as really key. One of the things I see that causes projects sometimes to fail or initiatives to fail is the lack of courage. When leaders are not willing to make those decisions that need to be made, when they're afraid of, what if it fails? What if something goes wrong? What if I don't succeed? And that just puts everything to a halt. So I really appreciate you highlighting on that. You guys get Paul's book. We have copies of his book at the back. We had to rush, say, make sure you get it to us today. So please check out his books. Thank you so much, Paul. Let's just give him a round of applause. I love that. Please check out his book.